Yo viewers, what is going on? Thank you for joining us at Fulbeck Kart Club. I just quickly want to say thank you to Josh Alexandre of ProKart UK for allowing me some track time. So what are we doing? Well, it's Friday and this is the Friday practice for the penultimate round of the BPEC Championship. So for those of you that don't know, BPEC stands for the British Pro Kart Endurance Championship. I was fortunate to be able to have a go in one of the karts, and so these are completely different really to your standard corporate karts. These, first off, have open wheels. There's no barriers, there's no bumpers around the wheels, so if you hit something you can break it. So they're very delicate. That was the first thing. I'd been told to stay off the curbs, and that I did. Obviously this isn't my car. I had no intention of going out there and breaking it. I didn't want to embarrass myself by spending a lot of time off of the track, because that's not what I do. But this test was extremely challenging and extremely demanding. And that is because, you'll see in a minute, I come into the pits and I take off my balaclava because I was struggling to see. And so, yeah, at these speeds, and for the safety of myself and other drivers, it's not a good idea to be having vision impairment problems. So I ditched my balaclava, and that's one problem gone. But the main problem, and the biggest upset for me of the day, was actually the biggest upset for the car of the day, and that was my body weight. Making the car's stability unpredictable, and by that I mean under braking, extremely heavy braking. I would move forward in the seat and the back becomes loose, because my weight that I've used in the first phase of the braking to dig those tyres into the tarmac is no longer there. So that lifts the rear end up off of the circuit and allows the rear wheels to lock up, which, like I was saying, makes it quite difficult to get the kart slowed, because then when I come off the brakes I haven't got the braking force to get the kart slowed down enough, which means I then had to start braking a lot earlier than what some of the faster people were doing, and that's where I lost a lot of lap time. I couldn't generate enough braking force in the kart to stop from a high speed without the rear axle becoming extremely loose, unstable and locking up. So yeah, that's solely down to me not fitting the base of the seat properly, and effectively the only way I can say it is like my torso was wedged in the top half of the seat, because the seats at the top are narrower than the seats at the bottom, and with me having no waist, I'm lodged in the top, I'm under braking, and in the corners my waist would be doing the hula, so I'd be going forwards and backwards and side to side, and my weight moving from here to there was unsettling the car, and it produced a lot of oversteer, meaning all my weight removes itself from the axles under braking, so I lock up and find it difficult to brake. My weight then stays forward, and then as I start to turn, my weight then moves to the outside of the car, and it's only at the point where my body rests up against the seat that I can tell whether the kart is sliding or the kart is not sliding. And at these speeds, unfortunately, that moment in time with me starting to slide and me stopping to slide, coming to a resting seat, is too long, and it means and makes it a lot more difficult to predict what the kart is going to do, and you really do start to lose confidence in yourself, in your own abilities, and just in the car itself. And I think that does become apparent towards the end of this session, which unfortunately is not a full session, guys. I am sorry if you wanted to see the full 15 minutes, but due to storage problems on my phone, I'm unable to record the full and sort out the full 15 minutes for you. So I have taken some laps out and some corners and bits and bobs, you know, a couple of hiccups that I did have ditched those, because instead of watching me go off the circuit in a video that's 10 minutes long, you know, I'm just going to give you 11 minutes of me making it round the track with still a couple of, you know, oversteering problems, and that was just how my experience was, unfortunately. Even there, under braking, you can see how much the cat moved around, how much I was having to alter the steering, and that's because the back end went loose every time I braked. I couldn't control the brakes properly, I couldn't control the rear properly, and I felt if I was to go any slower into the corners, I could potentially catch out faster drivers behind me, and that isn't something I wanted. So I could quite easily brake 5 metres earlier, 10 metres earlier, and not brake as heavy into the corners, but that's not going to help a driver that's nailing it, who's on the edge, coming up behind me. And so I was trying to push the car as much as I could feel I could manage with, but it was so unpredictable, unfortunately, that at times, you know, the cat beat me and my talent accounted for nothing. I couldn't catch the cat when it was sliding because it was unfortunately too late. But you know what, I'll definitely go back again. It was an experience, it was a massive learning curve. So again, thank you Josh for the track time, pal. It's very much appreciated. I'll leave a link to ProKart UK. So for those of you that don't know, ProKart UK give people like myself the opportunity to go out and test these Pro Karts at various times throughout the month and at various circuits up and down the country, as far as I'm aware. If you want to give these Pro Karts a go, I think for instance it's £120 for an hour at PF International for go in these Pro Karts. I might be wrong, but you can speak to Josh Alexandre or ProKart UK, which is owned by Josh, by following the links in the description. So I'll leave a link for his ProKart UK page in the description below for Facebook, and also I'll leave his personal link in the description, so you can send him a message, just inquire about maybe having a go one day in one of these karts, get some advice about him. He'll tell you what you need to know. He's very informative, he's a very quick driver, and in fact he was, I believe him and the 5-man team finished on podiums. And so yeah, in the BPEC Championship there are the elite class, pro class and women. Josh was actually racing with Modernised Racing that weekend with, I think they had 4 karts, or did Modernised Racing had 4 karts and I think Haas have 3 karts. That might be wrong, I'm not sure. But anyway, thank you to everyone for letting me have a go. I thoroughly enjoyed it, I thoroughly enjoyed the race. I will be going back to see more BPEC events. I'm going to be honest with you guys, if you want to see some bloody good racing, get your sent to one of these events. Whether, you know, if you want to drive 5 hours and go watch one of these 6-hour races, yeah, that 5-hour drive will be worth it. It's a lot more entertaining than the Formula 1. There's 30 to 40 karts on track during these events, and you know, the Friday testing, and then you have the Saturday testing, and the Sunday you have the qualifying and the race. They also do 24-hour endurance races. I'm not sure what the format for those is, when the races start, when the qualifying takes place, or when things end. But yeah, so if you guys want to give these Pro Karts, you know, a go, make sure to follow the links in the description and speak to Josh, and I'm sure he'll be more than happy to help and give you some track time. That was another problem there, effectively, with my oversteer, braking hard into that corner. Now, some people do 90% of the braking in a straight line and drive the corner. Some people brake into the corner and hit the power on the apex and drive out the corner. With me being quite light, I struggle braking into corners because, again, I don't generate enough grip myself in the rear tyres, and so I have to be a lot more careful on the brakes going into corners. And so being able to drive the corner on the accelerator, I find it easier to modulate the throttle than I do the brakes. So I'm one of these that does 90% of my braking in a straight line and then drives the corner. And so you'll notice I'm coming into the pits here, and that is the end. So hopefully you've enjoyed this. Make sure to like, favourite and subscribe, and hit the notification bell for the next few videos. But please as well, share it with your friends and family on social media, and we'll see you on another video. Thanks for watching.